teams drifting away from the podium here in the Melbourne pit lane. We're trying to absorb what has happened in this opening round of the 2007 Formula One World Championship. The Australian Grand Prix won by Kimi Räikkönen. Second place, Fernando Alonso, but in third place, his new McLaren teammate on his debut, Lewis Hamilton. But let's talk about Kimi Räikkönen. He seemed, especially when he had his foot hard down, to have quite an advantage over McLaren.
I think Ferrari got an amazing pace of that new car. I think McLaren will sense that they know there's at least a second in the bag for them if they turn up the wick. And as you saw Kimi during that race, he pushed in some laps, over a second a lap faster than everybody else. But Kimi Räikkönen, you know, we've known he's the fastest man on the race circuit. Now he's matched up to that Ferrari. I really do feel that there's a big chance of him winning this World Championship. Been saying it all winter long. Now it's there.
And also he's totally eclipsed his teammate Felipe Massa, who of course won the last Grand Prix of the last season in that Ferrari, had a sort of power base within the team, and in one race Kimi has taken all that away from him.
Well, I think Kimi has made himself to be the leader inside the team at this point. But I think, you know, to be fair to Massa, Steve, he had durability problems over the qualifying. He fought his way through, and in fact he achieved a great result compared to what was out there traffic-wise. It was a tough race for him. But don't underestimate Massa. He's been around a little while and inside that Ferrari team.
Kimi also the first driver to win on his Ferrari debut since Nigel Mansell back in 1989. Let's get some more reaction of what's happening around. Let's go to Ted, I think.
Well, Chris, we saw you putting all sorts of messages up to Kimi towards the end of the race. Cool engine. What were the concerns there?
Yeah, well, the main concern was the radio wasn't working. So obviously we had everything, you know, a reasonable margin, and we really just wanted to take everything carefully and make sure we're in the best condition for Malaysia with that engine.
So no concerns about the engine for Malaysia?
No, I think everything would be fine.
And what a word about Kimi and the job he's done for Ferrari today.
No, I mean, he's done an absolutely brilliant job all weekend, really. He did a perfect job yesterday, and the race was faultless. And as I said, the radio wasn't working, so he managed to do it all on his own today. We can't take too much credit for the way the race went.
Okay, very well done.
And what sort of concerns might Ferrari have about the long-term reliability of this car? There are certainly a few question marks over the closing stages of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit of an issue for the Ferrari team, but they managed it. They gave the information to Kimi. He obviously managed it inside the car. He had a little bit of a mishap during the last part of the race there, but you know, he still won the race by several seconds, and there's more to come. But I think the teams who finished here just shows that the durability is there, and that's a major factor for all of them going for the World Championship. The big boys, McLaren and Ferrari, be very happy with those results.
Well, let's get back to Lewis Hamilton, and we heard from a quite emotional Ron Dennis immediately after the race with Ted Kravis. But let's pay tribute to the investment and the not only Ron Dennis has put in, but also Anthony Hamilton, Lewis's father there. You wouldn't like to call today payback day, but it's a very satisfying day for both of them.
I think it's rewarding for everybody concerned. The whole Hamilton family, Mercedes-Benz and McLaren have put a 10-year sort of partnership together with Lewis. I just sat through the whole race, Steve, with Anthony Hamilton next to me, watching the race, watching his son there, and I can tell you, I could feel his heartbeat, and I was about 3 feet away from him. It was pulsing all the time, but fantastic to see him there celebrating. There's more to come. You know, let's not get carried away with the podium. I think there's a lot more to come in the future.
There is plenty more to come from Lewis Hamilton, and for Lewis right now, it's another new part of the Formula One experience, his first Formula One podium press conference. Let's go in and join them now.
It looked like a walk in the park, in Albert Park this afternoon. What a fantastic day for you.
Yeah, the weekend has been very good. I need to thank the team. It has been very good. And today the race was not as easy as maybe it looks like. Just before the start, my radio broke, so I didn't have a radio whole race, so it was a bit complicated. But at least we had a plan what we want to do before the race, so I knew pretty much what I was supposed to do. But of course, some places it wasn't the ideal situation. So anyhow, it was a good race for us. I didn't need to really push too hard, and just try to pace myself a bit, look what the others are doing, but excellent start.
Well, a nice clean start with the two guys either side of you racing one another. They're giving you a bit of a break on that opening lap.
Yeah, but I think so. It didn't, in the end, it didn't make much difference. That we were quite quick. I didn't need to push. Maybe it helped a bit on the first lap, so I didn't need to push as hard as we could have. But like I said, the car was perfect all day, and in Denver we're just bringing it home.
Well, you set fastest lap. We also saw you have a bit of a moment at turn 3 towards the end of the race. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I just looked the wheel. I was looking something else, not really putting effort too much. So it was completely my mistake. I was following another car, but one of those things sometimes happen when you don't need to hurry up so much. So not the best thing, but unfortunately it didn't cost me much. So.
Well, you made it look easy, but it is your first win in over a year. Just talk us through your thoughts and emotions and how you feel about that.
Of course, it's always nice to come in the first race and win straight away. I never have done that before. We have had good races before here, but never been able to win. And with new team, with everything basically new this year, is ideal way of starting the season. The car is very strong. I think so. The atmosphere in the team is perfect, and the people are really making my life very good there and easy. So I really enjoy, and it's like I said, perfect way, and hopefully we can keep it up.
Well, it looked perfect from the outside too. Congratulations to you. Fernando, well done. A great result for the team and a great result for you too. Second in your opening race with Vodafone McLaren Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think has been good weekend, and now I think the final result, I think we have to be pleased as well. I think the Ferrari were a little bit too quick today for us, so I think we have to take the maximum points out from here from Australia, and I think second place is a good place to start the season for sure. We need to work a little bit more if we want to win races, but as I said to the team, I think we show, and today here we prove that we are here to win, not to race only and relax. I think we saw today a good potential in the team, so looking forward the next one.
And a lot of speed from your younger teammate. First corner, he got you on the outside, and you spent much of the race following Lewis.
Yeah, it was a very strange start, not very good, and I saw Nick Heifel coming from the outside, so I was a little bit more concentrated in him than in the corner itself. So I realized a little bit later that I was fourth, unfortunately, and from there I think I didn't had the possibility to push in any part of the race. Sometimes I was closer to Lewis, sometimes I let some space to don't overheat the car, and the people that we were lapping also were a little bit unconstant, so we were up and down all through the race, and I was lucky to overtake him in the second pit stop. It's true that has been a good fight, as I had always here in Australia. I don't know why with my teammates. I remember Fisichella winning races here, and it's very interesting in the point of view for the people.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Lewis, the best finish for an Englishman in his debut race since 1966 for 41 years. Mike Parkes at the French Grand Prix. A fantastic day for you, and you led the Australian Grand Prix as well.
It has been fantastic, and to lead, as I said, to lead into my first Grand Prix was a fantastic feeling. It was extremely tough. I had Fernando behind me for a long time, and it's pretty tough when you have the two-time world champion behind you. It's not easy, especially in your first race. But I must say that the team have done a fantastic job pre-season, preparing the car. Not only the team here, but back at the factory, they've been working day and night to get the car ready, and it was great. A bit unfortunate in the second stop. I don't know really what happened there. I think the stop went fine, but coming up back markers was pretty tough. But it was all a new experience for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Talk us through that first corner when you managed to pass Fernando.
Well, I got a pretty decent start. I think we both probably got the exact same start, but the BMW seemed to be extremely quick off the grid, and Robert Kubica got past me. So there was no way for me to stay on the inside, so I thought I would dice back to the left, and managed to outbrake near enough everyone, and managed to gain a couple of places. And from then on, it went pretty smoothly.
And how did you feel there, leading Fernando, running where you were, and then taking the lead? What was it like for you as a rookie in your debut race to be going through that?
Well, you obviously got to. It's pretty much like every time you're in that position in the race, when you have either your teammate or you're leading the race, or you're obviously trying to catch the guy in front. It's extremely intense. You've got to make sure you make no mistakes, and for sure I did make a couple of mistakes in this run. But you know, again, it's just another new experience. But as I said, I'm ecstatic to be here. I mean, podium for my first race. I couldn't be more happy.
Fantastic result.
We're at the back of the McLaren garage. Let's talk in a little bit more detail about what Lewis has achieved today. And how do you feel that he measured against Fernando Alonso, his double world champion teammate? The equal in racing terms, maybe giving a little in tactical areas.
Well, he's just got to get a bit more experience, and that experience comes within working in Formula One and with the McLaren team. He's come out of races what were only like an hour in duration in GP2. Now he's stepped up, Steve, and he has a lot more to learn. But if he's already starting at this baseline, you know, Alonso's in for a tough season.
The start and that first corner for Lewis Hamilton should have been a time of maximum caution, but he spotted a gap.
You know, this was classic Lewis Hamilton, because we've seen him in his earlier races in GP2 last season be a fighter, and this is a classic situation here. He feints around the BMW, cuts him across the BMW at that point off the start, but Lewis doesn't get phased whatsoever. He just goes the long way round and makes it count, and even puts the move on his teammate there, which, you know, is it's fantastic. We're talking about double world champion, and he hasn't got no regard for him whatsoever.
What sort of a shock would that have been to Fernando Alonso?
I think that's a big shock, and you know, to see his teammate immediately in front of him off the start line wasn't something he was anticipating.
But then Lewis had to stay in front, and he was pushing pretty hard, and sometimes he was pushing a little bit over the edge, wasn't he?
Well, you know, he's a committed race driver, Lewis. He every single corner and every single lap, he's given 100%. But again, you know, all of the drivers there, even some of the big names, Kimi Räikkönen, who led that race, made mistakes. I can't take anything away from Hamilton for having a little off.
Does that not worry you at all? I mean, Martin was saying in commentary that he was concerned that he was pushing too hard at times.
No, I think he has to learn the level, what he can push for and how long he can keep pushing, and understand what is underneath him at a certain point. He's got to take on board what's going on with the balance of his car, learn more information what the team are giving him. It's just experience, plain experience.
And the other side is understanding and working out Formula One tactics, and Fernando Alonso is an absolute master there, and he ran longer in that important middle section.
He did indeed, and it paid off fantastically for him. But that is, again, you know, as we're talking about, experience, the tactics, again, working with the team, having a driver with the knowledge and the understanding, just to make sure that he knows what counts and at what part of the race to make it count. And he put a move in the pits, basically, on Lewis, and it stuck.
But we will talk a little bit more about what has been achieved by Lewis, by Kimi, and everything that's happened at the front end of the field in just a moment. But the problems really continue throughout the afternoon for poor old Jenson Button. But let's hear from the Honda man now.
Well, gents, I guess things can only get better.
Yeah, I was running pretty heavy in the first stint. I actually pitted early because the car was so bad. I had massive amounts of understeer, and at the first stop, I asked for a lot more front wing, but the team didn't see it in the data. So we didn't put any more wing on, so I struggled on the second stint. Third stint, we added loads of front wing, but still, it didn't feel any different, so I think there's a problem with the front wing. We've had it before, and it's just like the front wing's not working. It's stalling, I think. So it's a bit worrying. But hopefully that's a problem we can solve overnight. You know, it's just look at the front wing and then sort it out, because I don't think Ruma's had that problem. Yeah, and I had to drive through the penalty. I couldn't see the steering wheel when I came in, so I was speeding on the way in. But yeah, not a very good day. But you know, hopefully it's all crap today, and we can get over that and be all right in Malaysia.
Probably not something you want to talk about, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Lewis Hamilton finishing on the podium.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, I don't really know what happened in the race. Obviously, I got the final positions at the end, and it's great. McLaren seems very quick. They were second and third, and Kimi and the Ferrari seemed very competitive. But you know, that was like see them for one lap and then they're gone, so I couldn't really see who was up there.
So work to do before Malaysia, but we have got a test before the next race.
Yeah, we have, and we're going to need it. You know, yeah, every second of the test we're going to need.
Thanks, gents.
Cheers.
4 British drivers in the field then. Jenson struggled, but it's well done to Anthony Davidson, who's finished a Grand Prix after some big problems at the start.
Yeah, didn't get away off the grid, which is unfortunate for Anthony. He also had a problem even coming out of the pit box in the pit lane. So he knew that there was an issue there for him, but he stuck at it. And again, Super Aguri got to the end of the race, so they know they've got durability and made it count. And that's great experience for Anthony to finish that Grand Prix distance.
The most lurid moment of the race, that involved David Coulthard coming up the inside of Alex Wurz, and he held his hands up and said, I'm to blame.
Yeah, well, you know, DC's an old hand, and he knows full well that he actually overdid this a little bit. He just went in a bit too hot, just got on the brakes a little bit too late and couldn't take the speed off before it was too late. And nothing that Wirtz could do about that. He was just on line to turn in. Red Bull definitely had wings there, Steve, at that point. It's one of those race scenarios. DC's got it wrong. Unfortunately, he's come off worse, but then it's paid the price with Wirtz as well. One of those situations. Fortunately, the gravel trap did its work and no big problems.
And it was a very frightening moment indeed for Alex Wirtz. But what do we learn from this first Grand Prix for the likes of the world champions Renault? The driver lineup is still looking a bit brittle.
Well, I'm feeling that really Fisichella just needs to be a lot stronger. I can't believe that the Renault is in a bad car. It came off the last couple of seasons in a very strong situation with winning championships. I just feel that maybe they need a bit more input from the drivers. And Kovalainen's got much to learn, and he had a couple of errors during that race. Fizzy doesn't have any excuses for me. I think he needs to get on it and show the way for the team.
And BMW, who looked so strong during the course of winter testing, they continue to look strong.
They do indeed. And I think Heifeld was very strong throughout the whole distance there. Kubica also put in a good show. If they just get things together, I think there's a good chance that you'll see those guys on the podium and on a more than consistent basis.
And Williams scoring points as well, and well done to them. And it was a terrific drive from Nico Rosberg to get them in the points as well.
Yeah, young Nico. You see the year of experience in a Formula One car. He definitely gained from that, and a good steady race and a great combination there with Williams Toyota putting some points together.
It's Kimi Räikkönen who takes the win. We mentioned Anthony Davidson there, his strong performance after difficulties at the start. We can hear from Anthony with Louise.
You have at least made it to the checkered flag. Is there some joy to be had from that, or is it more frustration about what could have been?
Well, you're always frustrated. I mean, I think Taku slipped back to 12th. Obviously, the car didn't have the pace that we enjoyed in qualifying in the race. So, in that respect, it was just good to finish, and we'll work on some race pace for the next race. But yeah, it's just it was a little bit frustrating of that. More so just because I'm so knackered. My back's just destroyed.
Go get a rub down.
Thanks.
Kimi Räikkönen's win, though. Let's get a final thought on what the season holds for him. And we have to remind ourselves, of course, that it's his first victory since Japan at the back end of 2005. It's important for him to get back to winning ways in this fashion.
It's very important for him to come out and win straight out of the box with Ferrari. Michael Schumacher's left them, but they've got another race winner in their car, and I think they've got a championship contender in their car as well. And if Massa can have a little bit of luck, I think they're going to have a very strong combination for the whole season.
It was a Schumacher kind of performance from Räikkönen, but he's not a Schumacher kind of character. But if he keeps winning and performing like this, he'll really galvanise the team around him.
He's his own character, Steve. He's a very independent guy and has a different view and a different outlook. But take nothing away from the guy. He knows how to race, he knows how to win.
And McLaren, will they come away from this race satisfied with second and third, even though there is a bit of a gap to Ferrari, isn't there?
There's a gap to Ferrari in terms of performance, but they will come away very satisfied. They are leading the Constructors' Championship as we speak, and a young rookie like Hamilton doing the job he did, and with Alonso, they've got a great deal to be happy about.
Finally, here's a man I know will be happy. Let's get a quick word. Anthony Hamilton, congratulations to you. Congratulations on behalf of Lewis, I'm sure. The feelings for you at this moment?
It's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. I think, well, there are no words to describe how we feel. I think, this is a culmination of 13 years worth of hard work. Much appreciated for getting Lewis the opportunity with McLaren, and yeah, just ecstatic. So I'm looking forward to a glass of champagne as soon as he gets back.
Has he even surprised you the way that he's handled everything that surrounded this weekend?
If I'm honest, I've been stunned all week because when I arrived here, Lewis looked so confident. I knew I was going to be in trouble. I was going to need to muster all of my strength to keep cool because he just felt so comfortable with the car.
And what's next for him? Of course, Malaysia in 3 weeks' time. But how does he come down from this?
Well, he'll approach that exactly the same way that he approached this one. And, I mean, fourth in qualifying in your first Grand Prix, yes, it's ticking a bit.
It's slowed down now.
Yeah, it was going mad earlier. But fourth, qualifying fourth in your first Grand Prix at a circuit that you've never been to before, and then finishing third, and leading the race at one stage as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's more than you can ever dream.
Fantastic. There's so much to look forward to
Thank
now.
you very
Anthony,
much.
thanks very much
Thank you.
indeed.
Cheers.
And thanks to you if you've joined our coverage either late at night or early morning. I know it's been difficult and we appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure you've enjoyed this Australian Grand Prix. But there is a full race rerun at 4:10 this afternoon, with race highlights at 11:15, which are repeated on Monday, and then the next Motorsport on ITV. Well, that's the return of the British Touring Car Championship, and it comes next weekend.
27 drivers, 18 teams, 7 manufacturers.
This is entertainment. Oh, Shentana touch with Giovanardi. Surely he's lost the lead. That was a real late lunge. It's going to be another victory for Team Halford.
The British Touring Car Championship returns to ITV.
Touring cars from Brands Hatch next weekend, the start of their season. Next stop for the Formula One season is the Malaysian Grand Prix in 3 weeks' time. Qualifying on April the 7th, the race on Easter Sunday. Full live coverage, plus, of course, all the necessary reruns as well. And quite a few teams will appreciate the 3-week gap now to sort themselves out after this Australian Grand Prix. But for Lewis Hamilton, the second race of his glorious new Formula One career can't come soon enough. But it's Kimi Räikkönen who takes the honours here in Melbourne. Bye-bye.